Okay, what's up, guys? So, recently, Blasphemous HD, he inspired me to make my own Minnesotaboyy videos. So, consider this a story time. If you're new to my channel, yes, this is a story time. But if you're a veteran on my channel, then you most likely already know of this story, because I might have mentioned it in videos or whatever. You might have went back in my older videos to go watch it yourself. But yeah, Minnesotaboyy, I beef with them too. Me and him, we kind of got into it. It wasn't like no face-to-face confrontation like him and Blasphemous HD. But yeah, we did get into it on the internet and stuff. But anyways, yeah, it was one of those beefs where I was like, I wasn't worried. I wasn't like, thinking like, dang, I might like, I might end up losing this beef. At the end of the day, I knew like he wasn't gonna last on YouTube for that long. You came out with a video titled "Dear White People, Why I Hate White People," and you thought I was going to be the one getting taken off of YouTube. Look, bro, I don't care how many fans you have. I don't care how many whatever you have. All right, you do a video like that, you're automatically disqualified from YouTube. Like, you're gone. You're done. Get out of here. So you might as well leave on your own terms, because if YouTube takes you down, then it's like, yeah, you done. You good. Like, you never coming back to YouTube. But anyways, so back in 2015, so I'm pretty much just giving y'all like, because I remember this story very vividly well, all of that. So anyways, it all happened in 2015. 2015, I started doing reaction videos, reacting to a gang of videos. People was like recommending me videos left and right. And so one person had asked me, because I didn't know that Minnesotaboyy had uploaded this video. I wasn't really watching Keemstar, and I think Keemstar had reported on it, but I wasn't really watching Keemstar at the time. I would watch like videos of his here and there, but I think I did see that he reported on it. So anyways, so the video is going viral. I don't know of it. Somebody had asked me to react to it, so I reacted to it. The reaction to my video, not to my video, but to his video is still up. My reaction to his video is still up. But since then, at some point in time, I don't know when, he took down the original video, his "Dear White People, Why I Hate White People." So the only way you can find it is unless you watch a person's reaction video or my reaction video. So anyways, so yeah, I reacted to it, and in the reaction video, I was just like, I thought it was funny, because I'm like, yo, this dude, he is really mad right now. He went through this whole video to talk about like why he hates white people, calling them racist, derogatory names and stuff. I'm like, dang, this dude is really upset. So anyways, so yeah, at that point, I was just like, I reacted to the video, cracked a couple of jokes. Pretty much like any reaction that you would see today from me, that was the same reaction I pretty much had back then. I didn't take the video serious. I wasn't mad. I didn't care. So, but I was just like, yeah, it's wrong that he came out and said that. I'm like, you're blaming a whole race, probably for a couple of white kids. They called you the N-word on either YouTube or Xbox or PlayStation, whatever your preferred gaming console is. But yeah, I'm like, bro, you can't get mad at a whole race because of somebody making you upset. That just doesn't make any sense. That's not logical. So anyways, so probably like maybe the next day or 2 days later, he tweets me and he asked me why did I react to his video. So I wasn't thinking that it was going to lead into a beef or into no argument, but I told him, I was like, somebody asked me to react to the video, so I reacted to it. And then I went to his Twitter account, and I remember he was, so me and him, we did kind of get into it after that, because then he was trying to, like, explain to me, like, why he made that video and stuff. I'm like, okay, you can explain it to me in, like, 10 different ways. At the end of the day, you're still being racist. And I can't remember if it was then or if it was at some point in time later on in the beef, but it was him and his fans that was telling me that black people can't be racist. Now, let me just stop the story right there. Anybody that says, because it's like, yeah, a whole, like maybe a whole race can't be racist, because there's going to be some people in that race that refuses to be racist. Now that makes sense. But you as an individual, publicly, on the internet, saying how much you hate white people, calling them racist, derogatory names, like, you're open about this. Like, that's racism. That's racism, because I'm like, there's no difference what if it was the other way around. If a white person, because my thing is, if a white person would have came out and did the same thing, they would have been getting called the racist. So it's like, bro, there's been people that have gotten called out for like less offensive videos. They was like, look at Justin Bieber. Did he come out in some like video saying like a joke about black people or something, and then people was calling him a racist for that. They was like, that's a racist and offensive joke. Trisha Paytas, they was all like, Dixie D'Amelio, she just was they were all facing, both of them was facing backlash. Trisha Paytas, she was facing backlash because I guess it was she, I think, had said the N-word and somebody turned it into a song, or she had made a song and they had the N-word involved in it. I don't know, but Dixie D'Amelio she was just dancing to it and she got called out for it. So why do you think, because you're black, you're supposed to get a different treatment? Like, look, you can't use no stuff from like back then, from when our parents was, dealing with racism, or our grandparents was dealing with racism, or any of our ancestors was dealing with racism. You can't use that as a reason for why you are racist. Like, yeah, talk badly about the white people that they were dealing with back then, but you're talking about people that's not even did anything to you. Like, a lot of his fans, and that's one thing that I had noticed from his channel, that his channel was like rapidly losing subscribers. And I remember people was telling me like he was at a high subscriber like number, but when he made that video, he lost, I think they said, people were saying that he lost like thousands of subscribers. And he was like, I remember he was like at 40-something thousand by the time he did that video. So I was like, yeah, bro, it's like people have seen you as a racist. You did a racist thing. So, but anyways, we got into it on Twitter. We was going back and forth. And I remember I went to his Twitter account to see if he was like saying anything else about me and stuff. Because I'm like, I'm replying to it all. I was like, nah, what was that video of that one white guy? He was like, today I got time. So that was pretty much me. That day I had time. So I went to his Twitter account, seeing he was like making all these other different tweets about me. Then he started talking about how I was like working on YouTube. I remember one tweet he said was like, he uploads 7 videos a day. Like, that's so sad. I'm like, how's that sad? I care about my fans. My fans want content. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put out videos for them and stuff. Whether it's 1, 2, 5, 11, I don't care how many videos you put out. You put out videos. Like me, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put out a massive amount of videos. And that's what a lot of people that was doing reaction videos, because for those that don't know, the process of doing a reaction video, especially if you're doing it a fast and easy way, you can do a bunch of reaction videos within a day. If you have the time and the energy for it, you can do a bunch of reaction videos in a day. There's been times, especially back in like 2015, 2016, I was doing like 10 reaction videos a day, uploading them all within that day. So now I've kind of slowed down because I'm like, I gotta like, just focus on myself and things. I'm like, I got like, and also I have a bunch of other channels that I'm working on. So yeah, so I'm like working a lot with YouTube. I'm like, yeah, just you come out with content. Like, that's just what YouTubers do and stuff. But anyways, but the one thing that, and I kept saying that to him like all throughout the beef, and I think that's pretty much what shut the beef down, was that, okay, well, you're saying this on the internet. Now it's like you said it on the internet. Now you gotta go up face to face to some white people and say how you feel. Because I'm like, it's one thing to say it on the internet, but if you say it face to face, then I'll believe you. But until then, I just see it as that you're just trying to do stuff for views. Like, yeah, he probably might be a racist on the low and stuff. We never know. But also, he could just be doing this for views. So that's what I'm like, I never really took his whole thing serious and stuff. So anyways, so probably like fast forward in the beef, because it was kind of dry. Like, it wasn't like major things happening or anything. Like, it wasn't like no Blasphemous HD stuff where me and him like met face to face or anything, or he was threatening me. But his fans was like, they were crazy. I remember there was one night when I was getting ready to go to Vegas. And it was one of his fans had commented, because I was like, I like to like fly early, so I'm like, so usually when I'm like doing one of those like early flights, I don't go to sleep that night. I just record videos or stay up and play video games so I can sleep on the plane. So anyways, I remember that night I was recording videos and I was just doing a bunch of different things. And or one of his fans, because so Minnesotaboyy, that's what he liked doing, was live streams, watching my videos, and then just overall telling his fans to dislike my videos. So those live streams, I don't know where they're at. You might be able to find them on his channel. He might have taken them down. I don't know. But there were at times where he would do live streams and would just be like, "Oh yeah, this dude's a coon. He's this," like calling me racist, derogatory names. I'm like, bro, that's like some next level racism when you're being racist to your own race. Like, I don't understand. You're being racist to white people and black people. Like, that's next level racism right there. I'm like it's bad, but I'm like that's kind of cool though. So, anyways, but no, so I remember he was doing a live stream about me one night when I was heading to Vegas. And I remember one of his fans had commented on my video talking about. I thought that was the funniest comment that I had got from that whole beef. But the person was like, "You got 72 hours to apologize to Minnesotaboyy. If you don't, your channel is getting hacked." And I'm like, "Huh, okay." I'm like, "Well, in 72 hours, I'm gonna probably be in Vegas." And at the time I was underage, but I was like, if I've been like over the age, I'm like most likely I've been drunk or gambling. But I'm like, either way, I'm gonna be having fun in Vegas. I'm like, yo, Vegas is a spot. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't know why. I just love Vegas a lot. But anyways, yeah, I was like 72 hours later, I was in Vegas, like having the greatest time of my life, like running around that place. Freaking, because I was at the Caesar's Palace, so I was like, man, forget YouTube. I'm like, I'm having fun in Vegas right now. So, anyways, but yes, freaking 5 years done passed by. I don't think my channel got hacked, guys. I'm like, this is a weird hacking where I'm allowed to like still do what I've been doing. So, anyways, so yeah, at that point, a lot of his fans was like going after me and stuff. It wasn't just him. It was like, I remember there was one guy, he did like a 20-minute diss track on me. And it was, I think he was playing a Drake song. Was it Back to Back or was it, I can't remember what Drake song it was, but he just had the song on loop. And I think at one point in time, the song stopped playing, but then he played it back up. But it was a 20-something minute diss track on me. And I think that guy's name was like Video Game Controller HD. I think he's still on YouTube also, because I remember I tried finding that video not too long ago and I couldn't find it. So I'm like, yeah, he probably realized how dumb that was. Like, why would you post a 20-minute diss track? I'm like, bro, you is not Juice WRLD. So I'm like, don't do stuff like that. And the diss track, I can tell y'all right now, if people ask me like, what was the diss track like? What do you remember from it? It was dumb and it was stupid. That dude was like half asleep in that diss track trying to diss me. And I'm like, there's nothing to diss about me. Like, the majority of the things that people would say in the diss track about me is stuff that I've said myself. Like, what could you possibly say about me and things? Like, I'll have to sound one of those YouTubers where I'm like, I don't have a filter for anything like in front of me or even in me. So I'm like, I say whatever, I do whatever. I'm like, and that's just who I am. So I choose what I want to say and I choose what I don't want to say. So anyways, I'm like, yeah, so it's like if you find something, because I'm like, it's not stuff that I will post about. It's like usually anything that I'm open about online, I'm gonna be open about it everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everywhere. And so, but it's like, if you find out something about me, you've had to like hack my brain, because I'm like, yeah, that'd be the only way you can like think of something that's like hasn't been said or it's something that I haven't posted about or something. So anyways, but yeah, it was that. Fans was threatening to hack me, and then it was one fan. It wasn't multiple fans, but I did have multiple fans tell me like I lost my black card. I'm no longer black. Calling me racist, derogatory names, telling me I'm going against my brother, and I'm like, this dude's not my brother. We don't share the same parents. I'm like, we don't even look alike. This dude's a shade darker than me. I'm like, I'm this. Yeah, I'm like, we're not the same. I'm like, if this. Because my thing is, like, if that would have been my brother, I definitely would have talked to him. I'm like, if you dealing with some stuff, I'm like, you need to talk to me. Don't go out and post videos like that. Talk to me. Like, let me understand where you coming from so I can help you and things, so you won't lead into a self-destruction like life. So anyways, but yeah, so the beef, it did kind of like take a pause. Cause I just pretty much like I just knew how to end the like arguments. Like every time when he would come out and like tweet me or comment on my videos or whatever, he would mainly tweet me because he was really active on Twitter, so he would mainly tweet me. But I remember there was like I think that one of the last few times that we had talked, he just like was just saying a bunch of dumb stuff, and I'm all like, okay, none of this stuff matters. Like, go outside and approach white people and tell them how you feel. Until then, I'm like, you a clout chaser. Well, not a clout chaser, but I'm like, you're just you know, you're doing stuff for views. Like, it's just you're an attention seeker. Yeah, there we go. So I'm like, yeah, you're an attention seeker. I'm like, you're not doing it. I'm like, you're not real about this. I'm like, you want to show how real you are about this? Go up to white people and tell them how you feel. But he just kept avoiding the question and then just kept ignoring it and saying all these other different things. I'm like, I'm not hearing anything until you tell me, like, if you're going to do this or not. If you're not going to do this now, this conversation is going nowhere. So I'm like, anyways. So we just kept going on and on and on. And I just kept saying the same thing. And then eventually got to the point where he blocked me. And so I was all like, yeah, cool. I'm like, I got him to block me now. Cool. So anyways, then fast forward to December 2016, and that's when like the beef had like that was like the final nail in the coffin. Like it was like done and over with and stuff. But I had started beefing with this kid. And so I didn't know where this kid came from. I didn't know who he was. But I remember I would see him a lot in my comment sections and stuff. And so I'm like, who are you? Like, where are you coming from and stuff? I'm like, you look like the dad from Family Matters. Get out of my face, man. I'm like wearing like a tight leather jacket and you got like 15 stomachs underneath it. I'm like, man, get out of my face. But anyways, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, but it's like he was built for that jacket. Like his body shape was built for that jacket. Now he looked like that dude. I remember I seen him not too long ago, because I remember he would message me a lot on Facebook, and I'm like, I think I said that back then, I say that now. I am not active on Facebook unless it's like through friends or something to talk to them. But I'm like, any Facebook pages, I am not active on any Facebook pages at all. So Facebook pages to me are just confusing now. So I'm like, I can't even use them like how it was back in the day. Back in the day, it seemed like it was a little bit easier, but now I'm like, bro, they just got one too many things on them Facebook pages. So but anyways, yeah, I remember I seen him now. I don't know. He looks like I'm Dante and Chris Tucker, but it's like, it's just, I don't know. He ain't really like big and chubby no more. I'm like, all right, so he took care of himself. Cause I'm like, yeah, you was like the 13-year-old. What was that father's name from Family Matters? Hold on for a second. Let me see real quick. Family Matters. I was watching that show not too long ago. I forget. That was a good show. Cass, Carl. I'm like, yeah, you was out here looking like a 13-year-old Carl Winslow. I'm like, you had the leather jacket for it and stuff. But anyway, watch Family Matters and then just pay attention to the dad. That's how that dude was looking. But so he was commenting on my videos a lot. The kid was that looked like Carl Winslow. And I'm like, who are you? Like, where do you come from? I'm like, what's your frustration? What's the problem? And so eventually it did get to a point where he, at some point in time, mentioned Minnesotaboyy. And I'm like, makes sense now. I'm like, okay, so he's a Minnesotaboyy fan. And yeah, now he's just, I guess, trying to avenge his like favorite YouTuber. I'm like, bro, he pulled the trigger on himself. I didn't do nothing. He did that to himself. So I'm like, I don't know what you're getting mad at me for. I'm like, you gotta check your boy. So anyways, but yeah, so it did eventually come to the light, like where he was a Minnesotaboyy fan. And so then I remember I kind of like opened the beef back up again. I think I made a couple of videos talking about it. And but I left it alone at that. But that was it was more so to address things, because I was like, it wasn't like to like, I guess, like call him out or just, you know, pretty much do what I was doing before. But it was more so to address things, like, because that was one of the things that they had said about me, and that was like the number one thing that I wanted to address, because I'm like, you know, I don't want this to like go viral, and then people are like, a bunch of people are asking me, Tyler, are you adopted? But yeah, so they were like trying to go around and start up a rumor saying that I was adopted, and I'm like, I'm not adopted. I believe I know because I'm like, both my parents, they like, people always say that I look just like my parents. People say I look like my mom. People say I look like my dad. So I'm like, that'd be kind of weird to get adopted to some people that look just like you. And I'm like, I don't know about that one, guys. And so I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm like, baby, it could be a possibility. It could be one of those situations where I was switched at birth. I swear I am, because I'm like, there be at times where I be saying things, I'm like, that's not English. I'm like, I don't know what language that is, but I know that ain't English. But anyways, but yeah, he was trying to, it was him and the kid was like going around telling people that I was adopted and making videos and posting things about it. And I'm like, where does that even come from? I'm like, where is that? How does that even What? I'm like, I am confused right now. Where did you guys hear that? Where did you hear that I was adopted? Did I say it in an old tweet? Did I make a video about it? It is very unlikely that I had said anything about me being adopted. Like, that's something that's never came to mind if I am making a tweet or if I am recording a video or anything else. That's something that just doesn't come to mind. Not up until now, talking about it. But when did I even say some stuff like that? So I was like, that's weird. But I'm like, no, I'm not adopted. I both my parents, those are my parents and stuff. Like, it's, yeah, I don't think it works like that where it's you look like your adopted parents. I'm like, okay, then either way, whether I am, like, they're still my parents. I just feel like that's something, like, even if it was true, like, okay, I'm adopted. All right. Like, now that that's been discussed, like, what else that needs to be said? Like, I don't see that as being a problem. Like, there's a lot of, like, adopted kids out there. I feel like people, like, crapping or trashing on adopted kids. Why? For what? Them kids is they people just like the rest of us. There ain't no difference between them just because they adopted. So, anyways, yeah, I thought that was just dumb. I was like, I'm not adopted. Next. Like, there's, that, like, I don't see why that was like the topic of discussion. Like, why was that supposed to, was like, that's supposed to go viral? Like, I think the number one thing you need to worry about how you gonna revive your YouTube career. Like, you worried about me being, like, adopted, and here it is, you about to, like, be the, like, lowest rating YouTuber in the whole platform. So I'm like, yeah, bro, you need to focus on yourself. But anyways, and then, yeah, after that, then the beef had ended. I didn't really hear too much from him. He didn't tweet me. He didn't make no videos about me. He didn't do any more live streams about me. And pretty much, I'd see it as, yeah, the beef. It ended in December 2016, and then it did kind of open, or it didn't open, but it kind of revived another beef, which led for 4 years. And yeah, that's a different story. So, anyways, yeah. But yeah, Minnesotaboyy. So if they had to say, if they asked me, like, is there any, like, last things that you would like to say to Minnesotaboyy? And here's the thing. I never hated Minnesotaboyy. I never seen him as one of those guys where I was all like, oh man, like, I hate him. Like, I gotta, like, kill this guy or something. It never got to that point. I never thought that. I never was mad at him for what he said or for what he did. I'm a very forgiving person, and it takes, like, a lot. Like, I don't know, like, I don't think his intentions were to ruin my YouTube career. I just think that he felt like that people wasn't agreeing with him, which is true. Nobody was agreeing with you. It's like, because they're not racist. So I just think that, he might have been influenced by the wrong people, grew up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and, he just, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm like, that guy, he just needs some people to talk to. So I'm like, yeah, I personally think, like, it is possible for him to, like, receive forgiveness and things if he's willing to be forgiven. But yeah, I don't know, like, it never came to if it came to the point where he would have messaged me and he would apologize or just be like, let's just squash this beef and just carry on and stuff. I'm like, cool, fine. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm like, I hope and wish the best for you and things. Like, and it would be one of those things where people, because I know people, if it did come down to it where it's like me and him became cool, I would definitely try to help him like, revive his YouTube career and be like, hey, look, he's not that person that he used to be. He's at this point trying to find forgiveness. If y'all can forgive him, that would be cool. But I'm like, he's not this racist YouTuber anymore. Like, this guy, I'm telling y'all, Minnesota, and even Blasphemous HD was saying the same thing. Minnesotaboyy is a very talented YouTuber. I remember there was one time I was sitting down watching his old videos, and I was like, where did he go wrong? Like, where did he seriously go wrong? And I guess I can kind of, like, say, like, I've been in his shoes before, Minnesotaboyy. Not the racist part, but where you're coming out with this good content, but you're not getting the views that you want to get. And my thing is, like, look, bro, it's going to take some time. All right. But you honestly, I would have to say that he was doing, there were some videos that he was doing that was, like, a lot better than mine. And I'm like, yo, it takes a lot for a YouTuber to say some stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, his videos was good. So I was like, man, where did you go wrong? Why would you switch to being a racist YouTuber, bro? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I was like, man, that's just not good. I'm like, it wasn't good at all for him. But I was like, for me, I wasn't worried, I wasn't scared, I wasn't like, oh, my channel is gonna be forever ruined because he, is a bigger YouTuber. I'm like, this dude was rapidly losing subscribers, and then I remember at one point in time he did get hacked, and he's not even posting videos anymore on YouTube. So I'm like, what do I gotta be scared of? What do I gotta be worried about? So, anyways, yeah, it was messed up. You know how his career just like it was going up. Like honestly, he was doing good. Like I think from what I heard, he was like at 80,000 subscribers before he did that racist rant video. And then I remember it was like by the time that video had like settled into YouTube, he lost like I think it was he lost like 40,000 subscribers because I remember he was like at 40 something thousand. So he was either close to 80,000 or he was like at 80,000, but he came out with that video and it just ruined his whole YouTube career. So I was like, bruh, you can't do stuff like that and think it's gonna be okay at the end of the day. It's not. Excuse me. So, anyways, but you know what? To end it off on a positive note, I do hope that he's in good health. I hope everything is all right with him. I hope that there is a point in time where he does come back to YouTube and he's not being racist. Like I do think that he's a truly talented person, and just with the like right people by his side, I do feel like he can be somebody great. So it's gonna take some time, obviously, but he can be somebody great. So, anyways, but yeah, that was the whole Minnesotaboyy versus TMossBoss story. Make sure you guys subscribe for more story time videos. Like, subscribe, just for any videos at that and things that's across my channel. Go check out some of my other channels. Check out my podcast. Check out my merch store. Follow me on social media. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me everywhere. Support me. All right. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I was about to do the outro again. I'm like, it's too many outros. Too many outros. But anyways, thank you guys and peace.